All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. We're talking about the Minnesota Vikings tonight because, folks, you are 7-2. John Parker Romo, player of the game, 12-7 road victory against the Jacksonville Jaguars. This game felt eerily similar to last year against the Las Vegas Raiders, where it was tied 0-0 heading into halftime. But the one difference maker is Minnesota, compared to Jacksonville, no disrespect, is just better in every single facet, every single way, shape, and form. Minnesota is better than Jacksonville. And if you watched this football game, you would wholeheartedly agree with that comment. It was really weird because pretty much, if you want to know why the Vikings only scored 12 points this afternoon but still looked like the more dominant team, it's simply because, first off, Sam Darnold threw 3 interceptions, and number 2, Minnesota was 0 for 5 in the red zone. The Minnesota Vikings had the ball for 42 minutes tonight, compared to Jacksonville's 18. I mean, they dominated the trenches. They dominated the time of possession and the line of scrimmage. They literally dominated it. But whether it was interceptions or just not putting points on the board or touchdowns on the board, Minnesota just could not run away with this football game. It was so weird because it was 7-3 at halftime. But the second half, once again, as bad as that scoreboard looked, especially if you didn't watch this game today, it really is still extremely clear the differentiating levels that Minnesota is on compared to Jacksonville. But once again, at the end of the day, the win is all that matters. You got a road trap game. You got a road game. It's hard to win on the road in the National Football League, and that's what Minnesota did. And now you are 7-2. And folks, that is literally all that matters. So welcome back to the channel. Obviously, we're talking about the Minnesota Vikings. As always, hit that like button, hit that sub button if you guys haven't already. Keep in mind, I do have a Vikings channel down below. I'll pin it in the comment section. We're almost at 500 subs, so go check that out. But once again, here's some stats, all right? Minnesota, 42 minutes time of possession, 28 first downs. They had 402 total yards of offense. They held the Jaguars to only 143 yards of offense. They still had 241 passing yards. Mac Jones had just 111. Jacksonville also only had 56 rushing yards. Minnesota had 169. But there were too many penalties, 6 penalties for 40 yards, although I do feel like that was more so in the first. The defense and your kicker won this football game this afternoon. And that's not that bad of a thing. 0 for 5 in the red zone. 0 for 5 in the red zone. Unbelievable. The offense does certainly need to be cleaned up in the next couple of weeks here, or in the second half of the season. But this was so reminiscent of last week against the Indianapolis Colts. And once again, it just doesn't matter because a win is a win. The issue against the Detroit Lions and the Los Angeles Rams, in my opinion, was the defense. It was defensive issues, had nothing to do with the offense. The good news is the defense in the last 2 games, they're playing unbelievable championship level football. They really are. But let's get through this offense before we get into the defense. Sam Darnold, not his best day. Not necessarily every interception was on him. One of them, Justin Jefferson, was just somebody played phenomenal coverage on him, and the ball got tipped, and it landed in a Jaguar defender's hands, and you just got to kind of deal with that. But Sam Darnold, I don't think he played scared by any means. I was a little bit scared he was going to play scared after that 3rd interception, but he still did what he needed to do. We just need to see red zone efficiency. All right, Sam Darnold, 24-38, 241 yards, 0 touchdowns, but 3 interceptions. Aaron Jones, unfortunately, did get carted off with an injury. I believe it is a chest injury, something to monitor. I've always said it as a Packers fan. The only reason I'm not all that pissed off, first off, the Packers got Josh Jacobs. But the only reason I wasn't too upset with the loss of Aaron Jones is just simply health. I prefer to have my football players or my players on my team be fully healthy, ideally. Aaron Jones the last couple of years has just dealt with some injuries, but he should be fine. Don't take my word for it. I'm obviously not an MD, but he should be fine, hopefully. And if not, Cam Akers and Todd Chandler can hold it down for him in the meantime. Hockenson, welcome back. Such a huge, big body. He had 8 catches for 72 yards. I'm going to go out in a limb here and say at least 5 of those were for first downs. I mean, you got Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison, who had really quiet afternoons. Justin Jefferson, 5 catches for 48 yards. Jordan Addison, only 2 catches for 25 yards. But where you really are going to see the efficiency and hopefully some red zone efficiency moving forward is going to be a TJ Hawkinson. And it's not like Josh Oliver is bad by any means. He had another really good game, 4 catches for 52 yards, but just having one of the most consistent, reliable tight ends on the field in TJ Hawkinson, I do think is going to help out Sam Darnold a lot, vastly here in the second half of the schedule. But let's get to this defense, man, because without the defense, I mean, you score 12 points in a football game. Good luck. You're not winning that game 99% of the time or 90% of the time. The defense was huge, man, specifically the second half defense. The offense in the first half could not put points on the board, and they were also kind of struggling to get some good long drives going, but it was 7-3 at halftime. So I'm sitting here thinking to myself, I need turnovers. I need this defense to step up in the absence of this offense in the second half, and I need them to get the ball in the offense's hands. I need them to cause some turnovers and wreak havoc. And that's exactly what they did, man. 2 interceptions, 1 sack, forced fumble, strip sack, I should say. Harrison Phillips, unbelievable fumble recovery. I thought that was going to be the game. Byron Murphy with a huge interception in the fourth quarter. I also thought that was going to be the game. But it came down to Cam Bynum, another interception for him, game-clinching pick. Cam Bynum, so underrated. Byron Murphy in general as well, just so underrated. Stephon Gilmore doing his thing. The reason I'm emphasizing this defensive back room is because it was viewed as, and I'll agree, before Stephon Gilmore came into town, I was a little bit hesitant about the depth and talent that they had in that defensive back room. But you head into this season. First off, Minnesota was projected to win 6.5 games. One thing people were really concerned about was the defensive back room, but I got to say this season, I think they've done a really good job. Blake Cashman made his return. He had a phenomenal sack that got taken back due to a face mask, but he finished with 5 total tackles and a sack. Ivan Pace Jr. also had a sack. Andrew Van Ginkel also had a sack. I think that's it. But honestly, man, Mac and Cheese Jones didn't have too much time to do literally anything. We'll just run through some Jacksonville stats real quick. Mac Jones, 14 of 22, 111 yards, 2 interceptions. ETN, 11 carries, 44 yards. As a whole, the Jacksonville Jaguars ran the ball 18 times for 56 yards and a touchdown, averaging only 3.1 yards per carry. I know this wasn't a sexy, glamorous win that my Vikings fans watching this were hoping for, but honestly, man, a win is a win. Who really cares? You have a really nice matchup against the Tennessee Titans this upcoming weekend, but you're 7-2, man. The Minnesota Vikings, hopefully nothing goes crazy, and hopefully I'm not the jinx. This Minnesota Vikings team should hopefully easily make the playoffs here, and this win was big, no matter how ugly it was, all right? Thank you guys for watching. Hit that like button, hit that sub button for daily NFL content. Check out my Vikings channel in the comments, and we will see you in a day or two. Peace.